Hi guys, welcome to another Yarn Scrap Friday with me, Laura, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet one of my fruity coin purses. So if you follow me on Instagram or saw my community post on YouTube, I shared with you both designs and asked you to vote which one you would like as a tutorial, and it was pretty close actually, but the watermelon did have it just slightly. So today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the little watermelon coin purse, but don't worry, both patterns will be available on my website afterwards. So let's begin, shall we? Okay, so for this tutorial we're going to be using 3 colours, so it's all about colour changes for the watermelon coin purse. And so for the watermelon coin purse we're going to need 3 colours plus some black as well. So we're going to be using some green yarn and some white yarn and this beautiful coral colour, it's really nice, and of course a little bit of black yarn for the seeds as well. And this is a sport baby weight yarn, so that's a yarn weight of 2. And with that, we're going to be using a 3mm crochet hook. And you're also going to need a yarn needle and a pair of scissors as well, which I don't seem to have to hand at the moment, but need a yarn needle and pair of scissors. So we're going to start off with the green yarn to begin, and we're going to do a slip knot, and you can work into a magic circle or chain 4 loops. So this one I used a magic circle, but for beginners we're going to use the chain 4 method. So we're going to do a slip knot and we're going to chain 4. So chain 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we're going to put our hook into our first chain, bring the yarn through and straight through the loop on our hook to make a little loop of chains. And into there we're going to work 7 single crochet, but we're going to start off with a chain 1, don't count that as a stitch, and then putting our hook into the center of our chain 4 loops and not the first chain. Going to work a single crochet, so just wrapping it around the chains. You can do a single crochet, and this pattern's in US terminology, so in UK terms that's a double crochet. We want 7 of those, so put our hook back into there, do another single crochet, and then we're going to do 7 single crochet. So that's 3 and another one, 4 and another one, 5 and another one, 6 and one more, 7. And I've carried my tail in, so you should be able to just pull that in slightly if you do the same, and just to bring in that hole almost like a magic circle. And then what we're going to do is we are going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. Just put our hook into there, bring the yarn through, just do a slip stitch, and hopefully you got something that looks like this. It should have 7 single crochet by the end of that round. So then what we're going to do is we are just going to do a chain 1. Again, don't count that as a stitch. Then going back into our same stitch we just slip stitched into, I'm going to do 2 single crochet. So that's 1 to begin and another one, 2 single crochet, and we're going to do 2 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're going to go into our next stitch and do 2 single crochet, and just repeat that all the way around until we have a stitch count of 14. So we're doubling up. So 2 in the next one, 1 and 2. And just repeat that all the way around until you have 14 single crochet. Okay, so just coming up to the end of that round, again just finishing on 2 single crochet. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch. We're going to ignore our little fake stitch there, that's our previous slip stitch. We're just going to slip stitch into our first single crochet to join the round. So by the end of that round, you should have a stitch count of 14, so we should have doubled up. And then moving on to the next round, we're going to chain 1. And again, going back into the same stitch we just slip stitched into. This time we're going to do just 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochet for our increase. 1 and 2. Then we're going to repeat that all the way around. So in the next stitch, we do 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch, we do 2 single crochet. 1 and another one, 2. And just repeat that all the way around. So doing 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, back to the beginning. You should end on 2 single crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 21, I think. So we'll go into the next stitch and do 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch, 2 single crochet. Just coming up to the end of that round, again we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet to join the round. So by the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 21, so working to the 7 times table. Moving on to the next round, we're going to do a little chain 1 again, don't count that as a stitch, and then going into the same stitch we just slip stitched into. Again we're going to do just 1 single crochet. And we'll do 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches this time, so 1 single crochet in the next stitch as well. Then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, which should line up with your previous increase. So do 1 single crochet, then another single crochet in there. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So in the next stitch, we do 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch, we do 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch, we do 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. So repeat that again all the way around. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, back to the beginning, ending on 2 single crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 28 by the end of this round. So 1 single crochet in the next 2, 1 and next stitch, 2, then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Then 1 single crochet in the next 2. It's coming up to the end of that round, just going to slip stitch in our first single crochet to join the round. And by the end of that round, you should have a stitch count of 28. And then moving on to the next round, we do a little chain 1 again, don't count that as a stitch. And this time we're doing 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches. So going back into the same stitch we just slip stitched into. We do 1 single crochet, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then so 1 single crochet in the first 3, then 2 single crochet, which should line up with your previous increases. So 1 and 2. So it should line up with your previous increases. So then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3, just repeating that. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2. So just repeat that all the way around, doing 1 single crochet in the next 3, then 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next 3, then 2 single crochet, back to the beginning, ending on 2 single crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 35, I think. So 1 single crochet in the next 3. So just coming up to the end of this round, just slip stitch in our first single crochet to join. So you should have a stitch count of 35 by the end of that round. And moving on to another increase round, we do again a chain 1, and this time we're doing 1 single crochet in the first 4. So we do 1 single crochet in the same stitch we just slip stitched into, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then our increase of 2 single crochet, which should line up with our previous increases. 1 and another one in the same stitch, 2. And then again we repeat that, 1 single crochet in the next 4, so 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 and another one, 2. So repeat that, so 1 single crochet in the next 4, then 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next 4, then 2 single crochet, back to the beginning, ending on 2 single crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 42. So just check that, 42, yes. And yes, so just repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet in the next 4 this time. So 1. So it's coming up to the end of this round, and again slip stitch in our first single crochet to join. So at the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 42. And one more increase round, so we're going to again chain 1, don't count that as a stitch, and then this time we're doing 1 single crochet in the first 5. So starting in the same stitch just slip stitched into, do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet, should line up with your previous increases, 1 and another one, 2, and then just repeat that. So 1 single crochet in the next 5, then 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next 5, then 2 single crochet back to the beginning, ending on 2 single crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 49 by the end of this round. So 1 single crochet in the next 5, next stitch 1, next stitch 2, next stitch 3, next stitch 4, next stitch 5, then 2 single crochet, which should line up with your previous increases. Oops. 1 and another one in there, 2, and then just repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet in the next 5. So just coming up to the end of that round, just ending on 2 single crochet. We should have a stitch count of 49, and we just slip stitch in our first single crochet to join the round, and hopefully you got something that looks like this. So we should have a stitch count of 49, and what we're going to do now is we're just going to work some length rounds. So we're just going to do a little chain 1 to begin, don't count that as a stitch, and starting in the same stitch we just slip stitch into, we do 1 single crochet, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 49, so there's no more increases. And we're going to do that for 3 rounds. Okay, so that's just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 49, and we're going to do that for 3 rounds. So I'm going to do that and then I shall come back. Single crochet. Okay, so just coming up to the end of the 3rd round, and again we just slip stitch in our first single crochet to join. So we should have done 3 rounds of just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and it should start popping out this way. And what we're going to do now is we're going to join our white colour. So We're going to grab our white, although white's not technically a colour if you're an artist. And what we're going to do is we are just going to do our chain one, but we're going to do it with our white yarn. So we're going to put the white over our hook, just holding it there, bring it through the loop and pull your green yarn to tighten. And we've done our little chain one in white. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're going to go back into that same stitch we just slip stitched into, and I'm just going to carry that tail end and tuck it in, and we're going to do a single crochet, and we're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 49, and we're going to do that for 2 rounds. Okay, 2 rounds. So I shall do that and then I shall come back. 2 rounds in white. Okay, so just coming up to the end of the second round in white, and again we're just going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to just pull up a loop and cut some of these tail ends. So I'm going to grab my scissors, found my scissors, and just going to cut the green. I'm going to cut this tail end down the beginning, and it's going to cut the remainder of the white as well, and I can tie the white one in later. So what we're going to do now is we finish with the white, we're going to grab our sort of coral pinky colour, a nice watermelon colour, and do the same thing we did with the white yarn. So we're going to do a chain one, but we're going to do it with the pink yarn. So again, place that over your hook and just hold it, bring that through your loop, pull your tail ends nice and tight. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around in the pink. So starting in the same stitch you just slip stitched into, I'm going to carry that pink yarn tail end as well to tuck it in. We're going to do a single crochet, just pull these tail ends to tighten, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're keeping a stitch count of 49. This time we're going to do it for 10 rounds. Okay, so 10 rounds, so quite a lot of rounds in the pink. So I shall do that and then I shall come back. And once you've got going a little bit, I'm going to cut the white yarn as well. We finish with the white yarn. And just to carry on with the pink. Okay, so 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 49. And we're doing that for 10 rounds. Okay, 10 rounds. Okay, so just coming up to the very last stitch on the 10th round. So we've just been working 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 49. And we'll just slip stitch in the first single crochet to finish. And hopefully you've got something that looks like this. What we're going to do now is we're going to add some little loops just to make the little drawstring bag. So to do that, we're going to start off with a little chain one, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first 2. So go back into the same stitch you just slip stitched into, do a single crochet, and we'll do a single crochet in the next stitch as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, so chain 1 and 2. We're going to skip 2, so skip the next stitch and the next stitch. Then we're going to repeat that. So in the next stitch we do a single crochet, and we do a single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to create another little hold. So we're going to chain 2, chain 1 and 2, skip 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2. 1, and my yarn is actually trapped on my tripod. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch and the next stitch, so in the next 2. And we're creating these tiny, almost like little buttonholes, and we're going to repeat that all the way around up to the very last stitch. So again, we chain 2, skip 2, then 1 single crochet in the next 2. Okay, 1 and 2. Same thing again, we chain 2, we skip 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2. So repeat that all the way around up to the last stitch. So chain 2, skip 2, 1 single crochet in the next 2. So I shall do that and then I shall come back. So just coming up to the last 3. So again, we chain 2, we skip 2, and then in the very last stitch we just do 1 single crochet, and then we slip stitch in the first single crochet to join. Okay, so we've created these little buttonholes all the way around. So for the next round, what we're going to do is do a chain 1 to begin, don't count that as a stitch. Do 1 single crochet in the first 2, so the same stitch as you just slip stitched into, and the next stitch. And then we're going to do 2 single crochet in this 2 chain space. So put your hook in the big buttonhole and just wrapping it around the chains, work 2 single crochet. So 2 single crochet in there. Then we just repeat that. So we do 1 single crochet in the next 2 proper stitches. So single crochet in there and a single crochet in there. Then we do 2 single crochet in the 2 chain space, this little buttonhole. We do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. And just repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet in the next 2. Then 2 single crochet in the 2 chain space. So repeat that up to the last stitch. Okay, so just coming up to the end, the last 2 in the 2 chain space, and we've got 1 stitch left, so we do 1 single crochet in there, and then we slip stitch to join in the first single crochet. Okay, and we're almost finished. So what we're going to do now is just going to do a chain 1, don't count that as a stitch, and we're going to do 2 rounds of just 1 single crochet in each stitch round, keeping a stitch count of 49, so the same as this. So starting in the same stitch, we just slip stitched into, do 1 single crochet in each stitch round, keeping a stitch count of 49, and we're going to do that for 2 rounds. Okay, just 2 rounds. So I shall do that and then I'll come back and show you the finishing bits. Okay, just finishing up the second round and slip stitch to finish. Okay, so that is the end of the main bag. So what we're going to do now is going to just cut our yarn and pull the loop through. And what we're going to do is, this is the stitch we just slip stitched into to finish. We're going to sew into the next stitch. Show you a little trick for finishing off, not shown before, and just pull that over. And then this loop here, which is your last stitch, we're going to sew just into the back loop there. Get that little tighten, and you can see you've got a nice neat row of stitches there with no visible finish, so which looks really nice if you can see that. And then we're just going to hide our tail end. Okay, and then we can cut that down. And we're going to sew in our other tail ends as well, neaten those off. So all that's left to do now is to create some seeds. and obviously the little drawstring as well. So we'll do the drawstring first while we're still working with the pink yarn. And you can either do an I-cord if you want to, if you followed my little quick video tutorial on Instagram, or we can do some single crochet foundation stitches. So to do that, I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail for sewing. Do a slip knot. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to zoom in the camera just slightly so you can see a bit clearer, is we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook into our first chain that we made, bring the yarn through, okay, so we've got 2 loops. Then we're going to create a foundation chain, so we're just going to do a little chain 1 through that first loop. So this creates a little chain on the left hand side. Still got 2 loops. Then we do our single crochet like that, and that's a single crochet foundation stitch. So you've got a foundation chain and a single crochet. This time we're going to put our hook into that chain 1 that we made on the left hand side. So you might be familiar with the single crochet foundation stitch, but if not, I'll go a little bit slower. And we're just going to put our hook into that chain on the left hand side, and again bring the yarn through there, and we do the same thing again. We create the chain, so chain 1, that's the next one we'll work into. Then we do our single crochet, so we pull through both loops. So the next one, we want 37, 38 of these if you want to skip ahead. But the next one, we're going to work into that second chain we created. So we're just going under 2 loops like a normal stitch. Bring the yarn through and do the same thing again. We do a little chain 1 to create the next chain to work into. Then pull through both loops to do your single crochet. That's our third one done. So now we work into that third chain we created on the left hand side. Do the same thing again, we bring the yarn through, create the next chain to work into, and then we pull through both loops to do the single crochet. Okay, so that's a single crochet foundation stitch, just quickly shown quickly again if it's new to you. And we want 37 and 38 of these. So I shall do that and then come back. Okay. Just keep working into that chain that you create on the left hand side. And one more, 37. So I've done 37, not about, I have done 37. Single crochet foundation stitches. So, but like I said, you can make a little I-cord, something like that. And then we're going to cut our yarn, bring up this loop just to secure that. And we're going to grab our yarn needle and we're going to sew this through our little coin purse. Okay, so grabbing our coin purse, we're going to start off where the seam is, and we're going to go into this first buttonhole on the right hand side, and we're just going to pull that through and leave about this much on the outside. Then we're going to come through the next one from the back and then go into the next one, and we're going to do that all the way around back to the beginning. Coming from the inside to meet the one at the front, and there we go, we can just pull these and drawstring our little coin purse closed. And what I like to do is to sew these ends together to make a complete loop, as shown here. But you can leave it undone if you prefer, it's entirely up to you. I just sewed mine together. So I will do that, just sew them together, and all that's left then is to add some seeds. So for the seeds, what we're going to do is grab some black yarn, and I found about 8 to 10 short lengths is more than enough. So I'll probably do about 8, cut 8 short lengths of black yarn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some little knots, which works better than sewing, which I'll explain why in a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to make a knot right in the middle. I'm going to do another one on top of that. Make sure it lands on top to create a bigger knot, and one more on top of that. So you want 3 knots, like so. We'll do that for each of the 8 short pieces. Then we're going to sew one end into our project. So let's just open up our bag. So just find a random space on the pink part and I'm going to sew to the inside. Okay, so the knot catches on the outside, and then the other end, what we're going to do is we're going to sew through as well, but just sew slightly over so a little bit of pink yarn catches, just so the knot doesn't come all the way through, just in case. Okay, like that. And turn it inside out, and what we want to do is secure this so it doesn't come undone. So what I'm going to do first is, to make a secure knot that doesn't come undone, I'm going to place the right hand side over the top, which should be sort of like the normal way you would feel to make a knot. Then fold the under piece in, make a knot. But this time for the second one, rather than put the right hand side over the top, put it underneath, and this time have the left hand side over the top and feed that through, and that should create a knot that doesn't want to come undone. Okay, and then we can cut these lengths down because we want the inside of the bag to look nice as well as the outside. So I'm going to cut that fairly close to the knot, and it shouldn't come undone. So that's a little trick for children's shoelaces as well, to stop them coming undone as they walk. And we're going to just repeat that for all the other pieces of black yarn, which I will then do. So if we look at this one here, you can see it's just got these nice little neat knots on the inside rather than loads of sewing bits of black bits, and it looks much nicer on the inside. Okay, so I will do that, and I'm going to sew these ends together as well, and then show you the finished bag. Okay, so just doing the last knot. So I turn the bag inside out. It's much easier to do the knots, and then do the knots the other way around. Trim down the excess, and then turn our bag inside out, the right way around, and there we go. And I've sewn these ends together as well, so it creates a nice little loop, and there is our finished little watermelon bag. And if you sort of unevenly place the seeds, then it looks more natural. So an 8 to 10 should be enough. I used 8 on this one and 10 on this one. So it's completely your choice. And then all that's left to do, obviously, is to add some coins. So we'll test it from the other bag. And there we go. A little watermelon coin purse. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along. And like I said, the written pattern will be available soon on my website for both of these. And I'm thinking of actually designing a little strawberry one as well, and maybe an apple one as well. I'm kind of getting carried away with the fruity coin purses. But a huge thank you to my Member Plus members on my website for helping make these videos possible. So a huge thank you to you. And do check out my Member Plus area on my website for lots of extra content. You'll be able to get the written handwritten patterns straight away, and there's behind the scene vlogs of life in Hungary and as a designer, and there's a podcast and so much more, so do check it out, and I will see you soon for some more crochet crafting fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.